Emojis. I'm pretty sure everyone out there watching this video, the 8 people that are watching this video, know what emojis are. And they're pretty much these little faces and sometimes hands that pretty much describe how you feel or certain things, I don't know. But I see them in statuses a lot on Facebook or Twitter or anything. I mean, emojis are weird to me. I've never used them before because I don't have an iPhone. I'm not an iPhone person, but like whenever I see people using them, it's always like, okay, so if I see like a status and it has emojis after it, like the status will say a certain situation or say something that someone's feeling or just a random sentence, and the emojis always like perfectly express what they're trying to say in the sentence. Like you don't even need the actual status, you just need the emojis. And if you look at those, you know exactly what they're talking about. You know, and that's kind of a trip to me. You can pretty much just express anything with an emoji. You can tell like your whole entire life story using emojis. It can be the most detailed story. You can use them to tell every detail in the story. Whatever you're going through in life, whatever emotions you gotta put out there, just use emojis and pretty much everyone will know what you're talking about. I bet someone could tell the whole entire plot of Inception using only emojis, and it would be perfect. You could write a movie using them. You can write like a whole entire novel using emojis. In the future, I think we're not even gonna have like written words. We're not gonna have letters or sentences or anything. We're just gonna write everything using smiley faces and other emojis. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a story. So say there's a baby born with some kind of deformity, like they have giant Dumbo ears or something. And throughout their childhood, they're made fun of by kids in school, and no one likes them. And even his parents don't even like him too much. The only reason they take care of him because that's their child. They have to do that. So pretty much this Dumbo-eared kid has to go through his entire life with this general sadness. And because he's so lonely, he spends most of his time just studying and trying to get his education right throughout his elementary school years and his middle school years. But then when he gets to high school, he starts getting more into drugs. And because he's getting more into drugs, more kids find him interesting. They want to hang out with him because, you know, a lot of teenagers like to do stuff like that. So he's hanging out with these kids, he's gaining more popularity, and he actually, for the first time in his life, he feels like he fits in, despite the fact that he has big Dumbo ears. And he gets so much into this drug habit throughout his teen years and his young adult years that it ends up becoming like a real major problem in his life. Like he's not even focusing on school or anything. That's all he thinks about is drugs. And it gets to a point where he almost ODs on like cocaine or something, or heroin or meth, I don't know. And, you know, that terrible close death experience just kind of makes him want to change his whole entire life. He wants to get back on track with his education, and so he finishes high school the right way. He goes to school. He goes to college, and he finishes his education, and then throughout his adulthood, he becomes a successful businessman. He's like on top of the world. He doesn't even care about his big Dumbo ears. He just feels like the man at that point. And then in his adult life, he runs into a girl that he had a crush on back in high school. But back in high school, she didn't care about him. She completely hated him, and she made fun of him. She made fun of him along with all the other kids in school. But now that they're adults, she's kind of treating him like a normal person because, you know, she's more mature, he's more mature, so it's whatever. They don't care. She isn't judgment. They start to, you know, connect, and they start to date, and they actually end up falling in love, and then eventually they get married. But unfortunately, right when they get married, his new wife decides to take all of his money and leave. And she pretty much didn't really change from high school. She still hates him and thinks he's ugly, and she sees no future with this person or even having a baby with this person because she thinks that would just be disgusting and disturbing to have a big Dumbo-eared baby with this Dumbo-eared husband. So she leaves him with all of his money, and then he completely snaps, and he can't take the heartbreak from her. So he decides to go after her, and he murders her. And continuing with his rage, he goes out on a murdering spree, killing everyone in his childhood that made fun of him and made him feel like a piece of crap and ruined his childhood. And after that, because he's killed so many people, he decides to move to like Mexico or some other country, and starts a new life because of his drug connections when he was a teenager, all the hard drugs he was into and all the people he knew from doing that. He ends up building himself up to be like the biggest drug lord in the world. He's like Walter White with big Dumbo ears. Just imagine that, like seeing Heisenberg with Dumbo ears. That's him. Goes out, he's dealing drugs all over the world, and he's like people who disappoint. He's killing whoever he doesn't like or doesn't care for, or whoever's in the way of his business. And as he gets bigger in this business, he kind of realizes he doesn't like the person he's becoming, because he's becoming more of a bully to the world and other people than the people in his childhood were being to him. So he kind of decides to off himself, which is pretty sad ending. Yeah, that's my story. That's the story that I have, and I would not be surprised if, like, tomorrow someone sent me, like, that whole entire story written in emoji. In every detail. Like, they get even more detailed than the story I just told you. They could just make this amazing script out of that, just using all emojis. I would not be surprised. Anybody out there watching this video who wants to actually do that, just translate it into emojis, then they can. And if you do, I'm going to give you $1 million pretend dollars, so you can become pretend rich, and you can tell your pretend rags to riches story using emojis. That's all I really want to talk about today. The story I told you was inspired by the third story in a new book that just actually came out during the holidays called Before Watchmen, and you can check that out right here. If you click right here in this area, you can see it and maybe even buy it. If you want to check out a random video that I found cool, then just click right here. Just click on this spot right here. I hope it's in frame. Just click it and it'll take you to a magical place that'll change your life. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, then click the subscribe button if you know it's good for you and you don't want to get punched in the face by me. Shoutouts to Glenn for watching this video and being a fan. All respect to you. And shoutouts to peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for being so delicious. I love you. And I'll see you later. Peace.